You know that friend who loves a good debate? The one who needs to think their way through things. They're a sort of fact seeker, always looking for answers and thriving on exploration and research. They're the one who researched the best deal on electricity when you moved into your flat at university. The one who somehow manages to get into those in-depth conversations about politics, religion, history, you name it. Well, take a moment, think about your friends. Who is coming to mind for you? Yeah, them. Now imagine you want to introduce them to Jesus. What would that look like? See, we think for Convince Me's exploring faith starts with understanding. First, we're going to hear a story from a student who came to faith in this sort of way, and then we're going to share some great ideas with you about how you could reach that friend.
So there was this student in Loughborough, and his mate invited him to an Alpha course. Now, he actually only went along because he wanted to argue with his mate, and he wanted to prove his mate wrong, prove that Christianity wasn't true. But he turns up and he hears all these Christians talking about a relationship with God. He thinks, what's that? Like, that doesn't make sense, it's silly, it's stupid. This guy was an engineer, and if he couldn't see it in front of him, if he couldn't understand it, figure out how it worked, it didn't make sense. But he hears all these Christians talking about this. And it was actually his mate's dad who said to him, what could Jesus do for you to show you that he's real, to show you that he exists? And this guy thinks, well, maybe if I saw someone from my hometown in my uni city, maybe that could be God showing himself to me, showing himself to be real. And then a few days later, he sees someone not only from his hometown, but from his school. After that turning point, he thinks, okay, maybe God isn't so stupid after all. And he starts to take Christianity seriously. He starts to seriously investigate the claims of Christianity. He reads the scriptures, he looks at the stats and the evidence. He looks at the fine-tuning for the universe. He looks at the prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament, and he discovers that Christianity really is true. He chooses to give his life to Jesus and gets baptized.
If you love unpacking ideas or helping people make sense of faith in a cognitive way, you might be great at naturally walking alongside a Convince Me. But the great news is we all can. Here are our top tips for reaching your Convince Me mates. First of all, be prepared to debate. Use your knowledge, but do season it with grace. We want to represent who Jesus is in the way we answer. Secondly, tell them, I don't know, but let's look into that together. Your Convince Me friends will really love having that exploration with you. And finally, find good resources that you trust, books, podcasts, speakers. And if you're not sure, ask a trusted Christian mate or someone at your church to give you some advice.